Namaskar. I am Dr. Aarti Chaudhary, Assistant Professor in the Department of Ancient Indian History, Culture and Archaeology at Vasant Kanya Mahavidyalaya, Banaras Hindu University. I welcome you all again in this 12-week course titled History of Science and Technology in Ancient India from Harappan Civilization to 7th Century CE. Now we are going to discuss Module 6, Lecture 5. The title of Module 6 is Sciences in the Vedic Literature Part 2 and the title of Lecture 5 is The Theory of Atomism. In our last class we have discussed about the doctrine of 5 elements and now the theory of atomism. So let us start. At first, the learning objectives. The first learning objective of this topic is to know the foundational principle of atomism as developed by ancient Indian philosophers like Kanad and Vaisheshik school. The second objective is to analyze how Indian atomism differ from or aligns with Greek atomism and how it integrates metaphysical and ethical dimensions within its philosophical framework. And the final objective is to understand the different theory of atomism given by the different school. In this lecture, we will discuss atomism, Nyaya Vaisheshik versus Greek atomism, the Jain atomism and the Buddha atomism. But at first, before we discuss the theory of atomism, we have to understand few words clearly. Like, what is Parmanu? Atom, invisible, eternal particle. Vaisheshik, a philosophical school that developed atomism. Kanad, the founder of the Vaisheshik school. Dravya, substance or matter. Guna, qualities or properties of matter. Karma, motion or activity essential for atomic combination. Samavaya, inherence, relation between atoms and substance. Padarth, categories of reality. Combination, Samayoga, process by which atoms form larger substance. Vedic literature reflects a deep and intuitive understanding of the natural world, including early ideas that align closely with scientific atomism. Ancient texts describe the universe as composed of minute individual particles known as Parmanu, the smallest unit of the matter that cannot be further divided. These atoms are eternal, invisible and serve as the fundamental building block of the physical world. In a scientific context, this theory reveals a remarkable early insight into the structure of matter. It proposes that atoms possess inherent motion and qualities, giving rise to all observable substance through various combinations. This explanation aligns with core principle of physical science such as matter composition, causality and transformation through interaction. Atomism in Indian philosophy offers a logical explanation of the physical world through the concept of indivisible particles called an atom or Parmanu. These atoms are seen as eternal and fundamental to the formation of all matter. Their combination and interaction follow a causally coherent process. Schools like Nyaya Vaisheshik, Jain and Buddha developed distinct atomic theories. This reflects a rational and early scientific approaches to understanding nature. Now, the concept of Nyaya Vaisheshik atomism. The Nyaya Vaisheshik and later Nyaya Vaisheshik systems represent a logically structured theory of atomism combining metaphysical and epistemological rigor. The distinction between avayava, part, and avyavin, whole, which explain how combination of atom form perceivable substance has shaped the atomism theory of Nyaya Vaisheshik. You have to understand the avayav part and the avyavin whole. I just give one example. A brick is the part of a wall. It is avayav. But the whole wall is made by many bricks is avyavin. It is an example to understand this theory. Now the classification of substance. The system identifies 9 categories of substance which earth, water, fire and air are regarded as atomic elements. Nature of atoms. Atoms are considered eternal, indivisible and without any magnitude, yet spherical in form, serving as the basic building blocks of matter. Distinct elemental attributes. A unique sensory attribute distinguishes each class of atom like earth, odor, water, taste, fire, color, air, touch. Qualitative differentiation. Despite sharing structural similarity, atoms are qualitatively different due to their specific attributes, enabling differentiation among elements. Constructive aspect of Nyaya Vaisheshik atomism. Formation of matter from atoms. Atoms being in eternal motion have an inherent potential to combine. According to Nyaya Vaisheshik, two like atoms both are the combined to form a dvayat. Atoms of different type, earth and water, do not combine. Other atoms act as supportive agent, enabling the primary combination. Here we have to understand that the concept of atomism is definitely flourished by the Kanad, the theory of Kanad, but one example from Chandogya Upanishad is, scholars believe that this is the earliest example which give the concept of atomism in Indian text, and that is from Chandogya Upanishad, and there was mentioned a conversation between Uddalak and Aruni, where Uddalak mentioned that all these substance, all these avayav is made by different small tiny anu as atom, and these atoms are divided on the basis of their own attributes, and similar attributes atom connect to each other and made a substance, and the dissimilar attributes just break the bond of the atoms, and this is the basic concept which scholars believe is related to the concept of atomism. Later it developed by Kanad and further many schools of Nyaya and Vaisheshik. One another example is Satyaketu, who asked to that how can a small seed give birth to a big tree. Then there was explanation in Chandogya Upanishad, if we can't see anything, it doesn't mean that not exist, and this idea, this opinion is basically perfect for the origination of a tree. We can't see the so many tiny organs are inside the seeds, and but that seed is responsible for the growth of a big tree. So everything which is not visible, it doesn't mean it is not existed, and these tiny things are probably the atom which combines and just form a big shape of the any attributes. So we can see the another example, dvayat as the first product. The dvayat, though a product of two atoms, remains super sensible and infinitesimal its magnitude arises solely from the numerical combination of two atoms, not from any spatial property, since atomic minuteness cannot contribute to grossness. Hence, two atoms form the logical minimum for causation. Formation of visible matter, the triad. The triad, the smallest visible unit, is formed by the combination of three dvayad, not directly from 6 atoms, while dvayad and atom lack spatial extension. A plurality of dvayad impacts visible magnitude. Higher combinations follow similarly through intermediate step. At least 3 dvayad are required for the production of the minimum gross of matter. So, these points is basically related how a particular matter, how a particular avayav formed what we can see with the with our eyes. Next point is causal hierarchy and non-eternality of gross matter. Atom being eternal can only create dvayads which are non-eternal products. Gross bodies must result from products not directly from atom to align with the empirical truth of impermanence. This ensure a logical causal chain where each effect becomes the next cause, explaining qualities and diversity of substance. Variation in qualities within a substance are explained by the presence of supportive atom and the structure arrangement. Thus, the heterogeneity of qualities arises from both atomic variety and configuration. Role of Adrist and historical development. The unseen force Adrist is regarded as the efficient cause initiating atomic combinations, while atoms serve as material causes. Vaisheshik atomism has deep root in the pre-Buddhist India and was further refined by thinkers like Prasastapad, Udyotakara and Raghunath Siromani. Despite critiques by Shankaracharya, the system remained influential among various schools including Purva Mimamsa. Nyaya Vaisheshik versus Greek atomism. We all know that from the beginning India have been engaged with the external trade routes. From the beginning of the Harappan civilization, there was extensive trade routes, was India connected to the other countries. So, by this connection, by the medium of trade, they interacted to each other, and the mutual understanding of science and technology was created by the India and the Greek. So, let us have some example of the Greek atomism and what said by the Nyaya Vaisheshik in Indian context. First point is reality of void. In Greek atomism, the void is considered real and essential to the existence and motion of atoms. The void provides the space in which atoms move, and it is as real as the atom themselves. In contrast, Vaisheshik atomism does not emphasize the void in the same way. Instead, it focuses on space, which is a fundamental element, but it does not view it as a void necessary for atomic motion. Now, what is their opinion on nature of atoms? Greek atomism poses that atoms differ in size, shape and other physical properties which are considered the fundamental building block of the universe. These atoms are invisible and come in many forms. On the other hand, Vaisheshik atomism does not focus on the physical difference of atom in terms of size or shape. Instead, it categorizes atoms based on their qualitative characteristics rather than quantitative characteristics, and link them to the classical elements earth, water, fire and air each type of atom has unique inherent properties. Now, motion of atom, according to Democritus, atoms are in perpetual motion driven by an inherent force, and this constant motion is crucial to their interactions and the formation of matter. In Vaisheshik atomism, atoms are not in constant motion, instead they are in a state of rest unless set into motion during the process of creation. This means that the idea of eternal motion is not central to Vaisheshik thought. So, this difference is very obvious because the scholars who made this theory, they set in different world, they set in the different ideologies. So, this contradictory concept is very useful for the scientific explanation, for the scientific definition of this concept of atomism. Concept of the soul. Democritus suggests that the soul is composed of fine atoms like other matter and seeks to explain life and consciousness through the interaction of these material particles. In contrast, Vaisheshik atomism holds that the soul is non-material and conscious, distinct from the physical world. The soul is not made of atoms and is not subject to the same law as material entities. This distinction emphasizes the non-material nature of consciousness in Vaisheshik thought. Mechanistic versus spiritual view. Greek atomism presents a mechanical view of the universe where everything including life and thought is explained through the movement and interaction of atoms within a world. It is a materialistic worldview. Vaisheshik atomism, however, integrates metaphysical and spiritual principle into its explanation of the universe. The Vaisheshik system recognizes both physical and non-physical realities, blending the material and spiritual. Explanation of life. In Greek atomism, life is explained through the interaction of atoms. In Vaisheshik atomism, however, life is not solely the product of atomic interaction. The conscious non-material soul plays a central role in the life process, making the understanding of life deeply spiritual rather than purely material. Unique concept of Vaisheshik. Vaisheshik atomism introduced several unique philosophical concepts that are not present in Greek atomism. These include the idea of adrishtas, unseen cause or force, akas, either or space, and the formation of dvait and triads from atoms. These concepts shape the Vaisheshik understanding of the universe, distinguishing it from the more mechanical and materialistic Greek perspective. The Jain atomism. The Jain and Buddha system have their distinct version of atomism, both of which differ fundamentally from the Nyaya Vaisheshik system. Contradiction of part whole doctrine. The Jain atomism rejects the part whole doctrine of the Nyaya Vaisheshik system, while Nyaya Vaisheshik consider atom to be the material cause of the universe. The Jain philosophy asserts that atoms are both the cause and the effect, which is a completely different viewpoint. Worldview. For the Jain, the world is eternal without a beginning or an end. It consists of two fundamental categories, Jeev, living being, and Ajeev, non-living entities. The non-living elements Ajeev include dharma, the medium of motion, adharma, the medium of rest, akas, space, pudgal, matter, and kal, time. These elements expect for the time, all called astikayas, meaning they are pervading the occupy space, pradesh. Atom are considered the smallest indivisible unit of matter within this space. The Parmanu or Jain atom. is defined as the ultimate invisible and partless particle. It is the subtlest possible unit of matter, remaining uncut and indivisible. As stated in the Bhagavati Sutra, while its fundamental structure does not change, it can transform qualities such as color, taste, smell and touch. The atom is considered momentary with respect to time and is conceived as a point within a field kshetra of space. A pradesh is a portion of Akash space occupied by the ultimate particles called Anu and Parmanu. Now the Pudgal, matter. Pudgal is physical substance that undergoes transformations combining Pud and dissociating Gal. It is said to possess various attributes including 5 color, black, blue, red, yellow, white, 8 type of touch, soft, hard, heavy, light, cold, hot, smooth, rough. 5 tastes: bitter, sour, sweet, astringent and acidic, and two types of smell, pleasant and unpleasant. The transformation of matter occurs through the combination of atoms into aggregates. Now skand, aggregates. Atoms combine to form aggregates known as skands, which may contain 2 or more atoms. These aggregates can further combine to form larger units called mahaskand. The combination of atom depends on the inherent attributes of the atom like snigdha, attractive force, and ruks, repulsive force. The concept of skand differs from the Nyaya Vaisheshik idea on an aggregate, as Jain atoms are always similar and do not have qualitative distinctions like those in Nyaya Vaisheshik atomism. Atomism, combination and nature. According to Jain, atoms combine only when there is a significant difference in cohesive or repulsive forces. All atoms are inherently identical and possess the basic attributes of touch, taste, smell and color, with no qualitative differences between them. Vibration and motion of atoms. Atoms in the Jain system are capable of vibrating either regularly or irregularly. Their motion is linear and they cannot move from one point to space to another. The movement of atom through space is a significant process which can also be impacted by resistance. The atoms themselves are not always active but can be in a state of vibration or rest. Now karma and matter. The Jain system concept atom with the concept of karma. Karma is believed to be composed of subtle particles of matter, karma pudgal, that attach the soul jeev, thus corrupting it. The soul takes in these particles and their accumulation is what leads to the bondage of karma. Eternal matter. Unlike the Nyaya Vaisheshik, where atoms are the ultimate building blocks of the universe, Jain atoms are not seen as the final unit of matter. They represent a phase in a natural process. The Jain view suggests that matter Pudgal is eternal and that atoms do not signify the beginning or the end of the universe but the merely part of an ongoing cycle. Interactions of atom and other elements. In the Jain atomic system, atoms do not exist in isolation but are always present in conjunction with other elements such as dharma and adharma, which govern their movement and rest. Each space point with an atom also contains one unit of dharma and adharma, reflecting the interconnected nature of existence. The Buddha atomism. The concept of atomism is not explicitly found in the earliest Buddhist scriptures. The four principal Buddhist schools, Vaibhashika and Sautrantik, Hinayan sect, realists, Yogacharya and Madhyamika Mahayana sect deny the reality of matter. These two different schools, their beliefs are different, so their observation is different on the basis of the matter. The realist school on atomism, Vaibhasik and Sautrantik, this school accept the idea of atomism matter as part of their philosophical framework, especially when discussing rough material phenomena. According to them, matter is a combination of the four basic elements: color, taste, order and touch. Properties of both atoms. Inherent characteristics are indivisible, unanalyzable, invisible, untestable, intangible, inaudible. Momentary nature of both the atoms are not static, they are constantly changing, undergoing phase transitions. This view aligns with the Buddhist principle of momentariness, which state that everything is in perpetual flux. Now, classification of atoms according to Buddhist belief: simple atom, dravya paramanu, and compound atom, samghat paramanu. Views on atomic aggregation: clean combination, like atoms may combine without any space between them. Intervening space, some believe a gap exists between atoms. And close packing, others propose that atoms are so tightly packed that no space remains between them. Buddha view on matter: not chemical combination. Unlike modern chemistry, Buddha atomism does not consider atom to interact chemically, but instead sees matter as an aggregate of independent atoms, typically organized with one atom at the center supported by others. No penetration. Atoms are solid and indivisible, meaning they cannot pass through one another. Types of atom which explained in Buddhist atomism theory: four fundamental atoms: earth, solid; water, liquid; fire, hot; air, moving. Four secondary atoms: color, order, taste and touch. Atomic aggregates: a non-sound producing body consists of 20 atoms. A sound producing body would consist of 25 atoms. Atoms as dynamic force: energy rather than substance. Both the atoms are considered as force or energies rather than physical particles. Each type of atom represents a distinct form of energy. Earth atom, repulsive force; water atom, kinetic energy. Uniform energy distribution: while all things share the same proportional energy content, the differences in their appearance, solid, liquid, etc., arise from the varying intensity of these forces. The concept of momentariness: everything is transitory. According to Buddhist doctrine, everything is in a constant state of flux, with no object or phenomena truly enduring. Perceived stability is an illusion. The stability we observe in the world is a mental construct, not a reflection of ultimate reality. In reality, all things are ephemeral. So, on the basis of the Nyaya Vaisheshik concept of atomism, on the basis of the Jain theory of atomism, and on the basis of Buddhist theory of atomism, we can conclude the atomic theory in ancient Indian literature present a unique perspective on the nature of matter, emphasizing the individuality and fundamental qualities of atom. While different schools like Jain and Nyaya Vaisheshik offer varying views on the nature and combination of atoms, common theme emerge: atoms are the basic building block of the material world. each possessing inherent attributes such as color, taste, touch and smell. These atoms combine in a specific way to form aggregates, but these combinations are not considered new substance in themselves. This early concept of atomicity has influenced the later scientific thought and continues to be a valuable part of the philosophical legacy of ancient Indian thought. We can say these theories, these factors are basically provide the fundamental platform for the modern concept of theory regarding atomism. So, if you want to do more study on this topic, you can consult these references which is shown on the slide, and thank you very much for your patient listening. Namaskar.